Hello and welcome to the Oliver Show. Today we're doing another haul of things that I've been working on. I'm going to, in a moment, step to the side so that I can have my screen up here of each individual guy as I describe them and have fun with it. We have a visitor today. We'll see how long that lasts. Betty, say hi. Hello. Alright, so first up we've got a little mothball. It was a Mothman that came out the size of or the shape of a ball, and I really enjoyed the ball aspect, and so I just gave him antennas and called it a day. I think it's so cute. I did use some texture yarn or like accent yarn to make him fuzzy like a moth. He's just so funny, very cute, very silly. He's just a big fat ball. That's really all he is. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Up next, we have an absolutely adorable little monster who has 6 eyes. They're googly eyes. They do bobble around, wiggle around, and he also has a very long tongue. I did not realize how long the tongue was going to end up, but I can open up his mouth and he goes bleh, and it's just really fun. And he's a little blob shape. I ended up going with 3 eyes because I'm playing Hello Kitty Adventure Island or Island Adventure, one of those. And with only 2 eyes, he looked like the gnolls that are in the game. And then with the 3 eyes, he looked like the aliens from the Toy Story series. So he got 6. Now we have another monster. We've gone orange. I don't think I haven't done a lot of orange characters, but this one is orange and white variegated. He also has an open mouth. He's got some fun teeth in his mouth, and he's got a split tongue, which is really fun to make. He only has 1 eyeball, and he's got 2 legs. What does he do with them? I believe that he hops around like a bunny, but with 2 legs only. Yeah, he's just a little monster. Little hoppin' bunny monster. Now I've got, of course, I had to make one, a clown. It's very simple, but I absolutely love how it turned out. I went with the primary colors because I think by now we all know that the primary colors are cyan, magenta, and yellow, and not red, blue, and yellow. But for the purpose of the clown calling them primary, whatever, we went red, yellow, and blue with his palette, and I think it just goes really well. I love the little baubles around his hat. I love his little mismatched body parts on his little suit. I think he is just absolutely adorable. Coming up next, we have a little blue monster. He has an underbite, and as you can see, he has mismatched arms, because he does have a story. So, much like me when I was younger, he is very anxious. I'm anxious now, but, didn't have coping skills at that time, and I ended up doing what some kids do and chewing on their hair. So, I took inspiration from that, and I believe that he is regenerative, so all of his limbs can regenerate. And he has a nervous tick that when he gets really anxious or has a panic attack, he will bite off of he'll bite on or bite off of his arm. And right now it is in a state of regenesis and is essentially only a thumb. But that's what happens sometimes, you know? You get anxious and you cope with it in ways that aren't necessarily healthy at the time, and you learn better, you do better. He's working on learning how to not bite off his arm. So following up after that, we have a very, very drastic twist in our, tone, our vibe. I have a dominatrix. She is my original pattern, with some chest added, which I am working on figuring out how I want the chest to really be, and also putting that into another pattern so that there could be a chested and non-chested version of my pattern. But this one does have a small chest, and you can see she's got either, however you want to think about it, she's either got thigh-high boots or leggings or tights. She has a bodysuit that is fit to her body with a deep V and a deep V in the back, and it has straps on the sides. She also has gloves that attach up to her bodysuit, so they give an off-the-shoulder look. And then you can see she has a full kink type mask on with her hair coming out of the top, and you can see the cutouts for her eyes and her mouth. And then we're going to move into a couple of things that I am still in the process of working on, and I'm adding them to the video to help motivate myself to actually finish them, because realistically all they need are accessories, but I just haven't wanted to make them. So up first we have a zombie. He is a radioactive zombie who was infected after he was sent to somewhere where there was radioactivity. He was wearing a hazmat suit. You can see it's got little cuts in it. And he's got his hazmat helmet on. It is removable. It is a little bit tricky with his eyes. They do want to bump into some of the interior of his helmet, but if you just kind of squish his face a little bit before moving his head in or out of the helmet, it's not a big deal. But the helmet is fully removable. It does have a clear area in it so that he can see outside of the helmet. What I need to finish for him is a Geiger counter. You can see his hands have snaps in them. They can snap together. I also want them to have Geiger counter that snaps into his hands that he can be holding. So he is still a work in process. I need to figure out how to make a Geiger counter, I guess. So that one hand is holding the counter, the other is holding the wand. And then I also need to figure out how to make a coil for the wire of that. Who knows what I'm gonna do? I'll figure it out eventually. Following that up, we have a little demon. He is very cute. He, as you can see, has one snap on one hand. Initially, I was going to make him one of my kink characters. However, with his surface area being so small, the top ended up, it looked more like he was wearing a bikini or a bathing suit or like bra and panties rather than a masculine kink top and thong. So I scrapped the little top. He still has his little thong on. And he is anatomically correct. Little sneaky peek under his little thong. In his hand, I was going to initially have him come with like a flail a little like horsewhip, kink accessories. However, because he is not the full vision of what I want for a kink demon, he will be coming with like a pitchfork or maybe a flail. So he is a little demon. His antlers, his horns, they are also removable, and that is the biggest accessory that I need to finish for him, is giving him more horns. You can see both of those horns can pop out, and then he's got little nubs left over to kind of cover that section. It also prevents the horns from spinning. Something that I have noticed with the snap system is that it wants to spin, which is not necessarily what I'm looking for, so I'm having to figure out ways to fight the spin. And I have not wanted to do the tedious work of putting more snaps into really small pieces of crochet so that he can have more horns. But I know that when I finish, he will look amazing. So again, I'm hoping that this will help motivate me to finish him. Thank you guys so much for joining me. That is all I have for this week. I will see you guys in a couple of weeks with more. Hopefully a couple of the ones, or at least one of the ones that I showed today that are in progress, will be finished. We will see what happens. Who knows? I will see you guys in a few weeks. Bye.